Hi folks, finally everything has been announced, everything that we rumored in the past weeks, the Canon C50, the Nikon Zr, the Sigma lenses and so forth, they are in digital lens. Happy that most of the rumors were right, except of course of the wild DJI rumor. And I have an update also about that wild strange L-mount camera rumor, which is basically not true because it was a Nikon Zr. And also some tiny specs, like for example a Nikon Zr has a CF Express plus micro SD card, not an SD slot plus micro SD slot, so some minor errors here and there, but more or less everything I leaked was correct. And today I want to share an update on the Canon R6 Mark III rumor, and also discuss some more announcements we had, like for example the Tamron announcement. There is also new Leica Leitz Cine glass series for the E-mount system, so if you want Leica quality for E-mount, now you have some cool lenses and so forth. But before we kick off, a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button to not miss out the upcoming rumors. So before we do the recap of all the news we had this week, one additional rumor about the Canon R6 Mark III, because the German YouTuber named Jan Wegener, who usually shares correct info about the Canon stuff, he just released a new video and updated his info. Basically, the R6 Mark III will not be released in mid-September, but between late September and early October, so a couple of weeks later. What he thinks that simply the release dates have been mixed up between the Canon C50 and the Canon R6 Mark III. So that's the first info that I wanted to share today. So the Canon R6 Mark III is coming, don't worry, just wait a couple of weeks more and hopefully I can get some images and specs in a couple of days, so that will be nice. If you have some info about this camera, you can contact me here using this email address, a contact form. It's a sonyalpha@gmail.com. Don't worry, I collect all rumors and then I post them on mirrorless rumors, Nikon L rumors and so forth on my websites, but I don't want to give you 5,000 email addresses, so just contact me here and then it's fine. And so that's what he said. He also said that the Canon R6 Mark III is likely to have that same Canon C50 32 megapixel full frame sensor, and I think that would be great. It looks like a very high quality sensor, and it would shoot up to 40 frames per second at that resolution. Definitely a nice camera. Can't wait to see it, because this is also the camera that will compete with the Sony A7V that will be announced after the Canon R6 Mark III. So that's an info I can give you through trusted sources. Not coming end of September or early October. You will have to wait a couple of weeks more, and then we will get the Sony A7V. And like I told you, you have to subscribe to this channel because I will share some Sony A7V info soon. That's it when it comes to R6 Mark III. And now let's quickly go over all the announcements we had this week, because there were also some minor announcements that are exciting also for me personally. But first, let's kick off with the two big Sony FX3 killers from Canon and Nikon. Let's kick off with the Canon C50. I think for a camera that is priced $200 less, this overall is a better camera than Sony FX3. Of course, there are areas where the FX3 still shines, and keep in mind that Sony FX3 is now 3-4 years old. So of course Canon had the advantage to tailor the specs and the pricing accordingly. So I suspect that Sony will answer pretty soon with their new FX3 too. So Canon nailed it. I'm super happy with this camera, and I'm a bit more surprised about what Nikon did, because they announced a $2,200 super affordable Cine camera. And this is completely blowing off the market, because for $2,200 you're getting a full frame Cine camera with internal red coat RAW. So this is the cheapest camera you can get with red qualities, and it's simply stunning what I did. It's a super slim, sexy looking camera. I checked the reviews and basically nearly everybody is happy about the camera except of one guy, Gerald Undone. He is very nitpicky, finding some issues with the camera, like for example the micro HDMI port, that it only has one tripod mount. Internal red coat RAW, it's limited to 12-bit, so dynamic range gets a hit according to his testing. He also says that the IBIS is poor for video. It works in stills, but for video it's quite poor, and overall thinks that the ergonomics and the workflow is a bit clumsy on this camera. So he sees it more like a Sony ZV-E1 competitor, which is quite a downgrade from the original aim to be a Sony FX3 competitor. I think he's too harsh, but he had the camera. I don't have the camera, so I cannot give my evaluation of the Nikon Zr, but I see that all other reviewers are quite happy about the camera, and Sony definitely now has to answer pretty soon with the FX3 too, because the Canon is better and cheaper. The Nikon is in many aspects better and way cheaper. And I would love the Sony FX3 to finally have global shutter, open gate, a bigger screen you can see in daylight, because the Nikon screen is 4-inch big and twice as bright as the Sony FX3 LCD screen, so they have to really deliver. Then let's talk about the alleged L-mount Cine camera. Now that was really funny. We discovered at the end today that the L-mount Cine camera that looked like the L-mount Cine camera that was leaked by a German YouTuber was actually Nikon Zr, and he was using a PL to L-mount adapter on this camera. The camera was blurred out, so we were all thinking that this might be a new L-mount Cine camera, but I didn't get any reliable rumors from my trusted sources, so I was really confused. And so now we know he used a Nikon Zr camera. Probably he used, I don't know why he was using a PL to L-mount adapter. I have no idea. You have to explain in the comment system how this works, because it's quite confusing to me. But there's no L-mount Cine camera coming, and I think also no DJI L-mount Cine camera coming. Now moving on to the lenses. We got a ton of lenses because of course we got the Sigma lenses. Pre-order numbers from what I heard with the stores are okay, but nothing exceptional. I think the 135 1.4 is nice, but it's a niche lens. 35 1.2 also niche lens, and the lens that is selling best is, in terms of numbers of units, is the 2200mm lens. That's what stores are telling me. Makes sense because it's quite a affordable, nice travel zoom lens that does it all. So I'm also thinking about buying it because I currently do own the Tamron 28-200mm lens and I love it. But I certainly miss having a wider field of view sometimes, so having 20mm would be great. But here comes the other news that is great. It was quite unexpected. Tamron did announce the development of a new 25-200mm 2.8 5.6, similar to this when it comes to aperture, but 3mm wider, which makes a ton of difference, and it keeps the same size, and I'm super happy with the size and the weight of this lens for my hiking tours, mountain biking tours. This is very important for me to have something that is light and compact. So I will consider to buy the new Tamron 25-200mm lens, but I will first check out some comparison between the Sigma and the Tamron, because 20mm is even nicer of course, but the Sigma is also slower. So at the end I think image quality will decide if I will get the Tamron 25-200mm lens or the Sigma 20-200mm lens. Then we have two more lens releases. One is the OM Digital 50-200mm 2.8 lens. I checked the reviews. This is a stunning lens in terms of image quality, build quality, everything. It's an expensive lens for Micro Four Thirds, but if you compare it what you get in the full frame system, I think it's quite okay. The most important thing for me is this is really a nice high quality lens. So if you're a wildlife shooter, it takes teleconverter, so very flexible. If I would be Micro Four Thirds wildlife shooter, I would definitely consider to buy this lens. So great work from OM Digital. Finally some sign of life that they are putting in some of their own R&D and own knowledge, and they nailed it with this lens. So hopefully from now on also the next lenses and cameras will be a bit more exciting than what we got in the first years, okay? The second news about lenses that I wanted to share today is that actually Leitz did announce a new Cine lens series for the Sony E-mount system. So those are full frame lenses, manual focusing of course, but they're have a super high image quality, super high build quality, and they have the classic Leica rendering. So if you always wanted to have Leica quality as a native E-mount lens, this is it. But those are Cine lenses, so T2.1, and also they are not really affordable. With over $7,000 you have to pay for each lens, and if you want to buy all 6 lenses they launched today, you have to pay well over $40,000. This was it when it comes to the news we had this week. So I gave you a quick overview and also an update about the R6 Mark III rumor. But the important thing you have to know now is that in the next videos you will see more rumors about the real highlight of the year, which are the Canon R6 Mark III announcement and the Sony A7V announcement. I think those two cameras will be the most important cameras of the year. Stay tuned, subscribe, because I think you will get a lot of excitement in the next videos with the R6 Mark III and the Sony A7V, okay? See you very soon, folks.